Good morning, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your girl Denise with Real Life with Denise. Y'all, I'm gonna get back to that because I used to say that in all my videos and then I just stopped. And as you can see, like, I don't have a tripod. So listen, when you do your videos, you just do your videos, okay? You get your tripod and things when you can. All right. So I do have to get me another tripod because, honey, I love Five Below. That's one of my favorite stores, but them little tripods don't last long. So I'm gonna work on that. I gotta do me a little Amazon a thing so I can get me some stuff. Anyway, that's not why I'm here. What I'm here, today's message is we're gonna talk about accountability. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a second because I don't want y'all to leave the video, but we're gonna talk about accountability. We're gonna talk about how accountability leads to productivity. Let me say it again. Accountability leads to productivity. Okay? And what I mean by that is when you hold yourself accountable to things that you do, things that you know you need to change, it's going to become something that you end up working on, right? It's going to become productivity. It's going to become something that you try to change, that you try to do better at. Now, in that same breath, when you hold yourself accountable, because a lot of people don't like to hold themselves accountable, but they expect other people to be held accountable. Woo! Okay? We don't like to hold ourselves accountable, but we want other people to be held accountable. Okay? And so my thing is that in order for us to start wanting to other people to be held accountable, there's a lot of things within ourselves that everybody knows that everybody has a weakness. Everybody has something they can do better. And then when somebody calls them out on it, baby, it's just like, who you talking to? What you mean? Oh no, not me. And then you got those people like, yeah, you're right. I could change the way I do things. I could change the way so you have it on both ends, right? But accountability accountability is an important thing that we all have to recognize, that's how our lives go. That is how we determine how we get things done. Example, when you go to work, you know that you are accountable for your tasks. You know that there are certain things that in your job that if you don't do, it can change the trajectory of the day. You may be one of those people that hold an important role at your job. So if you don't accomplish your tasks, that's a problem. Or if you know that you are somebody that comes to work late every single day, well, you coming to work late every single day may affect other things that need to be done. And if I come to you or somebody comes to you, not saying me per se, but I'm saying if I was to come to you and say, hey, Johnny, I noticed that, every day, is everything okay? I noticed you being late. And your first reaction to me is, well, dang, why you worried about me? Like, why you, right? Me asking you may be out of concern, but you may not want to take accountability to, what you're doing, but you don't want to take accountability to that because you are worried about how I feel about something that I know that you are doing that is something that needs to be changed, right? So I'm saying that in order to look at somebody else and want to hold them accountable for the things or the way they're making you feel, sometimes that starts at looking at what we are doing too. Because we are not perfect. I know we are, people make us believe that, we are God's gift, right? But we are not perfect human beings. Nobody on this earth is perfect. But I do feel like we do not acknowledge when we do things that we know that we need to work on. Like, we just have a bad habit. But we will point out other people's flaws and want to hold them accountable. And this is not only in work. This is in relationships. This is in friendships. It's just like with a friend. You know that you have a friend that you haven't talked to in 3 weeks. And the first thing you will say is, well, I'm not talking to them because they ain't called me. But you ain't called them either. So you want to hold that person accountable for not reaching out to you. But you ain't reached out to them because you too busy worrying about why they ain't reached out to you. Now, on the flip side of that, you can be the person who's reaching out and that person is not responding, right? And then you mention to that person, hey, I've been calling you. I finally get to talk to you. I know you busy, but I know we friends. But everything okay. And they're going to say, oh, I just been busy, girl. Or boy, I've been meaning to come home. Boy, I've been meaning to call you, da 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 da. But they haven't taken the accountability to let you know, hey, I recognize that you called me, but I'm sorry, I'm going to get to it. That's how you take accountability. Most people are going to make excuses for why they ain't doing something or why they haven't done something. And that's just life. That's just how things, that's just how the world goes, right? We go to a restaurant, we go out to eat. They not bringing your food on time. Instead of taking the accountability and saying, you know what, we busy in the kitchen. Let me get my manager to see what I can do to fix this. They're going to just simply say, oh, can I, I'm sorry. I got 5 tables that I'm trying to, get to or whatever. And a lot of times they don't ask you what they can do for you. Sometimes they just apologize, and that could be a form of accountability, but it's not full accountability because you're giving a reason behind why something is not being done, right? I hope this is making sense. But when I say accountability leads to productivity, if you're telling me something that I need to work on, if you're saying to me, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna use me as an example because I can only talk about me, right? I know that when people talk to me, sometimes I automatically cut them off and want to get my thought across, right? And so somebody will say, Denise, you didn't even let me finish getting out what I need to get out. Accountability would be, oh my God, I know that's a problem. I know that's something that I do, and I'm trying to work on that. My apologies. That's accountability. I'm acknowledging that I know it's something that I do, and I'm going to try to work on it. What's not accountability is being like, now I do that all the time. I don't know why you act like you don't know. You don't know I do that. That is not accountability. That's just telling you, I know I do that, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm not gonna fix it, right? But the productivity in that accountability was when I said, my apologies, I'm working on that, and I'm gonna try to do better, not to cut people off, because I'm actively working on it, and I'm pulling myself back. And when it happens and people call me out on it, I know that, okay, I got to slow down and let people get their thoughts across. I hope that makes sense. So I encourage you that in life and when you are going through things, also look at the parts you play. Look at how the things that you do or how you're contributing to whatever it is that may be an issue. And are you taking accountability, or are you just wanting the person that you having the issue with, or the things that you're having issues with, you wanted that party to be accountable? Because you got to be able to be accountable within yourself first. And I know that's hard. And I don't know who I'm talking to. And somebody's probably like, girl, what? Right? Because these are conversations that a lot of people don't like to have. And a lot of people get guarded and they get frustrated and they get upset. What we like to call accountability is also constructive criticism. A lot of people feel like they just are who they are and they're not changing for nobody, and they're not this and that and the third. And the people are not asking you to change. They're just asking you to acknowledge certain things and understand that, hey, because people got to realize that people look at things on the outside. Like I may think I'm doing everything right, but somebody can come to me and say, you kind of might want to consider doing it this way. You know what I'm saying? And I could be like, well, and in some cases, I might just be like, well, no, I want to do it that way. But then I'm making mistakes, right? And then I'm not getting it done effectively, right? And then now now at the end, I got to hold myself accountable instead of saying, you know what, okay, I might get at a try. I might try to see how that change might work, giving it the benefit of the doubt. But accountability is hard. Accountability takes time. And we don't like to hear it. And it's really hard in relationships, because sometimes accountability can really be the downfall in why your relationship doesn't work. Because neither party is wanting to be accountable for the actions that they play in their relationship. If I know that I'm not giving you the quality time that you desire, I got to own up to that. I got to take accountability for that. I can't just say, oh, because my schedule is busy, that's why I'm not giving you the 2 or 3 hours that you deserve, right? And what happens when accountability isn't acknowledged? You get mad. And then people be like, well, I'm just done. Because I keep telling you this is that and the third, and you just acting like it ain't important, right? Or, every time we talk, like, we don't really talk about nothing, or, it's never positive, this and that and the third. And then that person doesn't want to take accountability for how the conversation is going, right? And they're like, well, you don't, this and that and the third, and you don't, right? This like real talk, real life, right? Because we know that's how it is, and sometimes in relationships. Instead of taking accountability, it's tit for tat. It's the back and forth. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, ain't nothing got resolved. Versus transitioning, redirecting, and saying, you know what? Okay, let me figure out what. Okay, you right. I do be calling you, and I don't really be talking about much. I just want to hear you breathe. That's taking accountability, right? Because I'm telling you, I know I don't talk about nothing. I just want to hear you breathe. You know what I mean? So it's like, we just got to get out of this whole, making everybody else the problem and not looking at how we're contributing to that problem. So this message was on my heart this morning, because I'm like, accountability is a hell of a drug. And a lot of times we a lot of people gaslight, a lot of people dismiss, a lot of people don't acknowledge. And when like I keep saying, accountability leads to productivity. When you are ready to acknowledge whatever it is that you are doing, that you could do better, the work starts. And I'm sorry, the sun is like beaming, so if I'm looking like this, it's because the sun is like literally in my face. But sidebar, skin is skinny though. Okay? Y'all know I cuts up. But anyway, real life conversations are hard to have. And I hope, this resonates with you. And I hope that you realize that once you start taking accountability, once you start acknowledging certain problems, certain things, and once you realize that in you, it's so much easier that when you do have an issue with somebody else, you know how to articulate that, you know how to word that, you know how to have those grown or mature conversations, because it's coming from a place of love. Now, everybody ain't coming from a place of love. Some people just wait till they get really, really, really mad and then expect you to, at the drop of a dime, just be like, well, why you didn't tell me this sooner? You want me to change? Accountability looks different for a lot of people. So hear me when I say it ain't gonna be you gonna tell somebody about something and they just gonna take accountability and it's gonna be all grand. There are gonna be some people who are gonna be like, but you X, Y, and Z. But they're gonna turn it. They're gonna flip it, because that's just human nature. Everybody is not the same. Everybody doesn't react to things the same. And you got to understand too that if you are dealing with people who harbor things, and then you decide you want to say something about them, and they have been harboring things that they feel about you, then when you do have the conversation, it's not going to be received well, because they've been holding in whatever they've been holding in. Some people are more vocal than others. Now, that goes in every area in life, especially at work. Because if you at work doing something, most people have what they call work wives, work husbands, co-workers they talk to. And before they come to you about something they feel like you could do better, they're going to go to them first. And Lord forbid you to turn around and go to them about something you already know. They finna be like, oh, I know you're not coming to me about this and that and the third when you doing X, Y, and Z. That's why I always say, start with self first. Work on self first. So that way, when you decide to want to talk to somebody else about some things that are bothering you, you can be prepared of what that's going to look like. Some people are going to take heed to what you say, and some people are going to be like, they're going to be the same. And then that's where you make the decision. You make that work decision. You make that relationship decision. Because I'm here to tell you, accountability wasn't always easy for me. And sometimes, even now, I'm like, oh God. I know, Denise. You know? Yeah, I know what I need to do. I need to stop doing that. Yeah, I know. I need to apologize. So, I'm just saying, we got to do better. We got to do better. And if you are not taking accountability, and if you're going around and around and around and around, if you're doing the same thing and you're doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, do better. Because not only is it going to help you, it's going to help the people that's connected to you. It's going to help the people understand you better. It's going to help the people know that, you know what, okay, oh, they finally, okay, look at them. You know? And again, this is why a lot of things don't work out. Work relationships, friendships, because people don't want to do the work. They don't want to acknowledge. Everything is good in the beginning because you don't really know that person. You know, you getting to know that person. I'm talking about all ships at this point. And then when you start noticing things that may not align with you or things that may not align with them, you know, instead of tackling those things in that moment, we just let stuff linger. And then we want to, you know, then at that point, you 2 years in that work relationship. You're 5 years in that relationship. You know, now y'all best friends. You know what I'm saying? Now you're best friends with a person. And then you having these heated discussions. And sometimes if you do the accountability part early on, those relationships will be much tighter, will be much healthier. Right? But we don't always do that. And that's why it's called life. And that's why it's called transitions. And that's why it's called seasons. Because even in those seasons, you realize, you know what, I can't work with this person. You realize, you know what, I can't be friends with that person. You realize, you know what, this relationship is not going to work. And sometimes it takes years. And it takes years because of the non-accountability on both sides. But I promise you, if you start, same thing with losing weight. I can go on and on and on and on. I can tell you for me, honey, I am thick by nature. Okay? But I make thousands of excuses as to why I haven't lost weight. I do not hold myself accountable to healthier eating habits. Real talk. Right? But if I start holding myself accountable and tell myself, you know what, no, instead of eating that hamburger, even though it look good, even though it got that bacon and cheese on it, whoo, Jesus, and then French fries, and say, you know what, I'm going to do it on a lettuce wrap. Even though I want the bread, I'm going to do it on a lettuce wrap. Instead of them fries, I'm going to maybe eat sweet potato fries or some broccoli. I'm taking accountability of the fact that I know that I need to eat better. And again, accountability is not easy, right? But in order to see a change, in order to have productivity, I have to acknowledge what I need to do. And once I started acknowledging what I needed to do, I felt better. I didn't have the urge to go down there to Wendy's and get that 4 for $4. Because I started changing what I'm putting in my body. I started acknowledging, you know what? You got a whole child out here to raise. You want to live long enough to see them get married, to see them go to college, to see them accomplish some things. And at the rate that you're going, you may not be here to see it. I finally took accountability. And then I could say it to my partner, you know, hey, listen, you need to, you know, hey honey, I love you, but we need to be in this thing together. Because he liked to eat too. And so once I took that accountability and what I needed to work on, and I saw something in him that he needed to work on, it was easy for me to articulate that. So that way he can't come back to me and be like, well, you ain't doing X, Y, and Z, because I'm already doing it. Right? So yeah. So I know this message was long. I hope you found value in it. If you stuck around to this point, welcome to the family. Hit that like button. Share with the friends. You are watching Real Life with Denise. And I see y'all on the next video. Love y'all. Bye.